Good morning.
All right, guys, let's see here. All right. Got just allow people a few moments to come in this morning. Atlanta, welcome. In the South, I think we see some new faces here. Hi, how are you? You, the rocking chair. I remember that. Is it
It's Judy. Yes,
Judy.
Hi,
I'll
Judy.
yes.
just make everybody seasick here.
The
I'll try to
rocking chair.
stabilize it.
I like the
Funny.
rocking chair, Pat.
If you could see the gallery of grandchildren behind me, you'd understand the true need for the rocking chair.
Yes,
But I was
totally.
saying earlier, I'm so looking forward to this morning because I'm really getting into pre-foreclosures and trying to learn as much as I can. So this is cool.
Oh,
we,
one.
we we have the authority here today.
Yes, the
She's
powerhouse
amazing.
Nita.
That's
Yes.
Yes.
what I hear. I'm looking forward to it, Peter.
Yep. I sent it to everybody this morning. I'm like, you guys got to get on here.
Exactly. Especially there, guys, with the different markets and the different things for the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited myself. But guys, so happy Friday morning. So I know also what I'm excited about is the mindset, right? Kind of the mindset that we get into, the mindset for the year, because this is starting a new year. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of anxiety and unknown, especially what we're getting into, right? So, like a part of it's like, oh, it's a new year, great! I got my New Year resolution. I was telling Chris this the other day. It's like, wait a minute, it's February, and everything that I had set up for in December just went out the window. I was like, I got to get back to the
Eh,
wagon. I got to get my book.
Remember, we're gonna do our first quarter a goal setting review. Let's call it review, performance review. So that's gonna be great.
My first month performance review went out the window, so I got to start back.
Yes. So can we just talk about a few things going on? Our in-person meetup is next Tuesday. I'll put the if you guys have not registered, whomever wants to come, we're going to be talking about, it's all about networking. But the first session, we're going to be doing a panel about co-living. So, looking forward to that. And so February 11th, Tuesday at 6:30, and I'll put the link here for whomever have not registered and is interested in joining us. Very excited. Our first in person in a long time.
Yes.
Hi, Jeff.
Benny. Good morning, Jeff. Jeff,
Good morning.
while we're waiting, Jeff, for people to come in, I saw you put a post on there that you are a multifamily owner now. Congratulations.
I am, yes. It's pretty exciting. Crazy, but it's exciting. It fell into my lap.
Is that
So,
the one in
what's that?
is that in Alabama?
Yes,
That's what I'm about. Yes, yes.
How many units of
106.
doors?
106.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
It's
your
pretty,
LP, you investing?
yeah, LP. Even my wife jumped in on it too.
Oh, wow, cool.
So
Congratulations.
it's exciting.
Congrats.
I got
Okay.
another one. I got another one that I'm gonna be probably hopping on in the very near future. We'll see first.
That's Birmingham, right?
The one I have right now,
Yeah.
106. It's in
No,
Montgomery.
what is
Montgomery.
Montgomery?
Yeah.
Montgomery. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I remember seeing it. I was like, I know that property.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Guys, there is we're just gonna allow people a few moments to get in this morning, guys. We're at 21 right now. Will, hey, good morning, Will. William, artist. You're new, I believe. I haven't seen you before. Just wanted to welcome you to the Atlanta and the South Zoom. Okay, I think. And then Nate, you're new too. Welcome.
Pat, real quick, do you do renovations for customers out in Augusta?
Say that again.
Do you
John?
do renovations for customers in Augusta?
In Augusta, no, I don't go out that far, but
Okay.
I have a contact for Augusta. I actually I work with a lot of guys from Augusta.
Okay. Anybody who's specializes in like lead paint?
I can't hear your voice. It's a little bit low.
Anybody who specializes in lead paint?
Let me tell you that. Like, are you trying to get rid of lead paint?
It's a old quad. old quadrant.
LA. We don't get rid of lead paint. We just paint over it. Yeah, we don't even try. Just paint over it. It is what it is. Like it's just out there. And that's me with my experience with 1920s homes here in the city. We don't get rid of it. We don't try to get rid of it. We don't mess with it. We just cover it.
Okay.
And then when you go to sell or rent, you have to give them a pamphlet to let them know that there is lead in this house, and that's how you kind of cover yourself. Make sure they sign a agreement that they understand that it is a lead paint house.
Thanks,
Yeah, that's the only thing we don't try to fix it. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, let me see here. All right, let's see what time is it. Here we are, 5 minutes, 6 minutes in. Chris, is there any other announcement that we need to make?
No, that's it. I'm putting the link right there for people that want to come and have not registered yet. But I'm excited to bring our guest and take
Awesome.
advantage of, all her knowledge and everything that she's done for the community. So it's amazing. Very grateful. Let me highlight her and we bring her on.
Guys, please welcome Nita Patel. Guys, everybody on the side chat there.
Oh, spotlight. Yes. There we go.
Good morning,
everyone.
Yeah.
How are you guys?
Good
Good.
morning. How are you?
Great. Good morning. Great.
Welcome.
Did you just come out of your Zoom this morning, your early morning Zoom, Nita?
No, that's only on, you're talking about the pre-foreclosures daily
Nita, can you hear
dial?
me?
Pat, I think your audio is
Can you
bad,
hear me?
Pat.
Yes.
You're breaking up a little bit, Pat, just so you know.
I think
Can you guys
okay.
hear
I think
me?
it's everybody.
Yes.
You guys
I
can
think it's
hear me.
Nita too.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I can hear you as well, Pat. No, I did not have my Zoom. It's the pre-foreclosures daily dial is on Wednesday mornings at 6
Oh, we
a.m. my time. It's like super early. But thank you so much, Chris and Pat, for having me on. I love talking about, what I do, the pre-foreclosures and the mindset and all of that. So thank you. I did see Edgar on here as well. Where
Oh
is
yeah,
he?
no, he's our partner here, right, Edgar?
Edgar,
Yeah,
good
good
morning.
morning, Edgar.
Morning. Hey, Nita.
Good morning. He's one of my favorite people.
I know, like Edgar is always here. We love him.
Yes.
So do you guys do in-person meetups as well, or is it just via Zoom?
We do a weekly Zoom, which is every Friday, which is the Zoom here, and then we do our meetup once a month, and it's like the second week of the month.
But we haven't done it in a while. Just explain, like we used to have a restaurant and then we
Okay.
closed down this past summer and we decided,
Yeah.
oh, let's find a new place. And then we got
Yeah.
busy, and then now what was one of our goals is to bring the in-person meetup. So we're very excited. Starting now in February, and then it's going to be once a month.
Yeah. How is this working out for you guys? Because I think you guys are probably one of the few that do their meetups on Zoom. I haven't heard anyone else really do it except for I think one more market.
You
We
know,
have been
we
busy,
start.
like 30 to 40 people on average, 30 to 40. And Chris, just real quick before you forget, did you hit record?
Yes.
Okay,
But
perfect.
we started, Nita, organically, like we just started, said, Pat, let's just go live. And, because we missed seeing people. And we tell people, like, as long as you guys are showing up, we're going to be here. That's, our commitment. And we've been doing since last, August, Pat, probably.
Yeah.
So, and we love it. We feel like, especially now we're coming in person, it's going to be even more involvement, bring more people in and build the community here in Atlanta. So,
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea because not everyone is able to make it, to the in-person meeting. So if
oh
you can
yeah.
do this, and
Oh,
the
we
in-person,
had the snow day in Atlanta. We all wearing PJs, like it's nice,
yeah,
to have
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. I might start something like that.
Yeah, let us know if you need any help or, if you have any
Yeah,
questions.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for real. Because, not everyone's able to come out, like especially like in the winter time when it's cold. And then some of us,
Yep.
have kids and have other things going on. So it becomes challenging sometimes. So giving
Yes.
everyone both options is a good idea.
Yes.
Can you guys hold on? My
Yeah.
kids are gonna go to school in like 15 minutes, so I did make sure I have everything for them, but I think they need
Oh,
something.
no,
Just give me
yeah,
a second.
please,
Okay.
yes.
What time zone is she in? What time zone?
CST.
CS. Okay. So it's like that's why I was like our kids. We just shift them off. We're like, okay, let's do our Zoom in the mornings. The best, like we shift them off. Yes, amazing. You know what?
Okay, while she's away, anybody new that wanted to introduce themselves, or I'm looking at everybody, see if I see any new person.
Stephen is new there.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
I hear something. Yes.
Yeah, my name is Shirish Amrudia. I was referred by Team DeGroot. I don't know if he's on if he's on the
Ah,
call.
yes, yes, the group.
Yeah.
Yes, he has a different, I think, from us here. We call him Too Tall Tim.
I
Oh,
know.
that's what. Oh, okay. Okay. Welcome.
Thank you
DJ
so much.
Tim.
And then where are you? What part of the town are you in? What city? What area?
I live in Marietta.
Marietta. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. And you are and are you what do you do? Are you in real estate? Are you getting in? Are you new?
Well, I'm a medical doctor by profession, but I am an investor on the sidelines.
Okay.
So I invest, and I happen to know Tim DeGroot, and we talked about investing, and he brought up your group. He's like, you know what? You should join the group and share the ideas, and you'll learn something. I'm like, yeah, more than happy to.
Well,
So
welcome.
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
You know what? One of the biggest thing, guys, is just that, and since you brought it up while we're waiting for Nita, is that taxes, guys. If you're paying taxes, you should be investing in real estate. If you're paying taxes, you should be investing in real estate, and that's one of the beauty of it, right? So it's just there's so many angles to it. We have a Christiane and I have a good friend that is an ER doctor here in Atlanta too, and it's just one of those things that every time we talk, he was the first guy that all he talks about is taxes. And I was like, why he keeps talking about taxes? And then I get it, now it's like, okay, I get it. Like the tax is the best part of it. But yes, so that's amazing.
Can I bring up Melanie here? Attorney Melanie. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
good morning.
Hey,
So
did you put? Can you change it? The screen, Chris. You from Nita.
yeah, is she back?
No. But can you put so we can get Melanie on?
Okay. So I'm gonna unhighlight her.
Melanie, good morning.
Does it make me highlight? Yes, good morning. Good
I'm gonna
morning.
highlight you for a second. Nita, just 1 second. We're just gonna bring our partner here just to yes, both of you guys now. I love it. Yes, so Melanie is one of our partners here. She does a lot of sub-2 deals, a lot of creative. We were having a conversation yesterday. Like, it's amazing. I just want to first of all let people know, like, for me, what really helped my business is to really get out of the Zoom and connect to people. Hey, let's have some coffee, dinner, lunch, whatever. Let's get, but be physical and say, hey, what do you need support, have that. So it was so nice to me to get to know her personally, because we've done files together, so she didn't know a lot of stuff about me. I did not know a lot of stuff about her, but she knows a lot of stuff about sub-2 creative. She's going to be our Zooms while she's here. If you guys have any questions about sub-2 or any creative deals or anything, or not even sub-2, that has to do with closing attorney, you're available, right, Melanie, to answer. Yes.
My phone number is listed there on my picture. I don't know if everybody can see it, and I welcome you to reach out to me.
Okay, great. Thanks for being here.
What I love about you, Melanie, as our our title attorney, is the fact that you are reachable. That if we have any questions, we have anything, I know that I can reach out to you, either text you, get back to me through the day. Because sometimes when it comes to files and closing files, one of the challenges that we have,
Communication, yeah.
yes, communication, getting in touch with the attorney. Like we call the attorney's office, and they are like, every time we call them, like, oh, they're not here. Let's leave a voicemail, or or something. Like it's so hard to get in touch with the attorney's office sometimes. So that's what I appreciate about you. So thank you for being in our community.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
It's back.
Melanie, do you only work in your market, or you also work in other markets?
Just the state of Georgia. I'm licensed in Georgia, so anywhere in Georgia I can close.
Okay. Okay.
Melanie, with that being said, we have people here in Savannah and Augusta, and you can
Absolutely.
the mobile closing, right?
Absolutely. Yes, I was talking to a gentleman the other day that's, I think I introduced him to you, that he's working out of Spain right now.
Oh, yeah.
And he's working in the Savannah area. And I had to say, well, that's kind of far from Atlanta. So we would be sending a notary to them to sign. I go, that's not a problem, but either you need to have the expectations for your seller that they know that they're going to have to pay for a notary, or you're going to have to pay for the notaries. So, and he was all in agreement for doing that. But yeah, we can't just have them go anywhere and sign the documents. I got to control of that and make sure that there's no fraud or anything in the transaction. So, but yes, I can do it anywhere in Georgia.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Awesome.
All right, Nita, back to you.
Yes.
Can you, like there's a lot of our community, some are sub two, from sub two, a lot of them are not. So can you introduce yourself and kind of tell a little bit what you do and your passions and
Yeah. So those of you, that don't know me, my name is Nita Patel, and I'm here in Chicago, Illinois. And my husband and I started about 8.5 years ago. And when we had started, we barely had $5,000. We didn't have that much money when we started. But, I knew there has to be a way, you can do this with no money, and like I just wanted to figure it out. There was no way, I was gonna go back to my W-2 I had left, because my husband was working at that time, and he said, go ahead, you can either stay home or, you can do something else. But, I'm not the type of person that can just stay home, and be a housewife, or just be mom, which there's nothing wrong with it. Like I think that's the hardest job that anyone can do, but that's just not me. After 2 weeks of being at home, I'm like, I gotta do something else. Like I can't just stay at home. So then I just started researching online on things that you can do, and then the first thing that I Googled was, how do I obtain financial freedom? And, just what are different businesses I can get into and all of that, right? And that's when I came across real estate investing, and I found a group, which was they're in California, but they were gonna be here in Chicago for a seminar. It's Tarek Al Musa's. So we went to that. It was like a 2-day seminar thing, and like we walked out so confused from from there. Like they talked about creative finance, subject to. I think they just confused you more. So then you join their advanced trainings or whatever they had, like after that. I was like, okay, this is not for us. I was just so confused on everything that they talked about. And then I started my research again. So then I came across a group here in Chicago. I don't know if some of you, have heard of him. He's one of the biggest investors here in Chicago. His name is Andrew Holmes. So then we went to his 2-day seminar that he had here in Chicago, and we resonated with him, the stuff that he talked about, and he said, hey, you don't really need money when you first start out, which I mean, you really do. You need a little money, when you first start out, unless if like you're doing off market and you're finding, the best of the best deals and stuff like that. So then we, went to his 2-day, and he also offered, it was like kind of like a funnel, most of these seminars are kind of like a funnel, right? So then we joined his mentorship, which is called Mastery, which was like about $22,000. And since we didn't have money, we put it on a credit card. But with that mentorship, we didn't really buy that much, because he taught us to buy from sheriff sales, from auctions, and then from the MLS. So like there were, private lenders in his group, which we can use, but they didn't lend on properties that you buy from the sheriff sales, right? So I was like, okay, I can't borrow money from the lenders in this group, if I buy from the auctions. And I did try bidding on a few, and every time, they would get bidded up, and I was like, this is not for me, and then even the MLS. I tried, but I feel like, at that time, I didn't have the courage and the confidence, to talk to real estate agents. That's also like just another, ball game, like, which, the more you talk to the agents, the more experience you gain. So that also didn't work out, but we did do our first one when we were in that mentorship, like it was through the MLS, which, it worked out. But after that, I just got so scared, I was like, we don't have money. And what if we, like, the biggest thing that he teaches in his mentorship is the BRRRR method. So even with the BRRRR method, you need a good deal. If it's not a good deal, and if your appraisal doesn't come back where, you want it to be, then you have to take money to closing, or you would have money stuck in a deal, right? Which I was like, we can't, like, we don't have anything right now, and I just all these fears that I had, like, okay, what if that happens? We already have this debt, on the credit card. Like, what are we gonna do? So then I'm like, okay, what else can I do? So then I just started researching again, like on YouTube, and I came across Brand Daniels, who teaches, like to talk to cold calling and door knocking and all of that, right? So then I'm like, okay, I don't have money, then I can start this. So then I just like started, like listening to his videos. And I was at a meetup one time, and someone started talking about pre-foreclosures, and they started talking about how you can buy properties, before they go to auction. And he didn't really go too much in detail about it, of course, because people are not going to give out, their secrets, or, like the strategy that they use and works for them. They're not going to give out everything, or most of the people won't give out everything. So then I'm like, oh, that's interesting, buying properties before they go to auction. So then, like, that night I come home and I'm up until like 4 in the morning, because I'm just so excited to learn about, pre-foreclosures and auction properties and all of that. So then I'm doing research, and, I'm like, okay, what can I do? So then, like, I find this one software. It's local here in Illinois, where they have a list of properties that are scheduled to go to auction. At that time, I didn't know you can get them directly from the county website. I didn't know. So then I'm like, okay, let me make a list and just, start talking to people. That's what Brand Daniels teaches, TTP, talk to people. So then I just started cold calling. I signed up for a skip tracing software, and I just started cold calling and door knocking. And there was this one here in a city called Streamwood, Illinois, which had a lot of equity. And I just couldn't find the right number. So for a lot of these leads, like, you're not gonna find, accurate numbers. That's just how it is. No matter what skip tracing software you have, or you use, you're not gonna find accurate numbers. Like, the accuracy rate is not that high. So then I'm like, okay, why don't I just go and drive to the property and see what's going on? And this property was like in a corner, like I think I went in circles like 10 times, but I was like, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna find this property, So then I parked somewhere and I walked to that property, because the navigation didn't, I guess, like, it wasn't taking me there to the property. So then I like parked somewhere, walked there, and this guy opens the door, and I just started talking to him. There was a little fear, but at the same time, I'm like, if I couldn't find this property, I'm sure a lot of people couldn't find it. A lot of people probably gave up, and they were like, okay, we can't find this. Let's move on to another one, but I didn't do that. So this guy, his property was scheduled to go to auction in 2 weeks. And he said, he doesn't know what his options are. And like, he said that the bank hasn't tried calling him, which the lender does. The lender sends out mail and sends, they try calling, but most of these people, bury their heads in the sand
Yeah.
and just don't want to face it, because it's scary, when you're about to lose your house. it's not a good feeling, you're just not in the right state of mind. So then he said he's willing to listen to what I have to say. So he listened. At that time, I didn't know everything. I had just started and I didn't do any mentorships with anyone who teaches, direct to seller. But I'm like, I'm just gonna give it a shot. Even if I mess up, it's okay. So even if you mess up, guys, it's okay in the beginning. You have to understand these people, the homeowners and the families, they know less than us. So it's okay. You just have to start somewhere, right? I didn't know everything. I didn't even sign up for Brand Daniel's TTP, I think like a few years later, because I decided that I'm going to figure this out with no money, with just like one software, and I'm going to do what he teaches. He says use a notebook, have a reserve of like $200,000, before you start buying and holding. So I was just pretty much following what he was saying. So that property, going back to that property, we did get it under contract. It was a great deal. I got it under contract for $60,000 and the ARV on it was $200,000 at that time. Right now it's about 300. So we held the property because that's what our first mentor taught us, to buy and hold properties. He didn't teach wholesaling. He didn't really teach like, hey, have a good reserve before you start buying and holding, which I don't recommend, guys, when you're first starting out. Make sure you have a good reserve before you start buying and holding, because there's a lot of maintenance and there's a lot of cost to it.
Yes.
And you don't want to get yourself in trouble, because that's what happened to us. We just kept putting it on credit card whenever there was maintenance, or, because it was just so ingrained in us that, hey, buy and hold. So anyways, we kept that property. We put in about $25,000 and the appraisal came back, I think at like probably almost 200. So that deal was good. There was no money stuck, but I would say I did get lucky on that deal.
But
Most of it was luck.
on the on the very beginning, right? So there's a lot of people here that are
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
they're right, they're just starting out, and you said that in your mind that you kept going back to say, how can I do this with no money? How can I do this with no money? And I don't think you even gave yourself a choice. You're like, I'm doing this with no money because I don't have a choice, right? So what, like for the people that are starting out, that are, that said, okay, real estate, like you said, obviously you need money, but can you go through your mindset of that, of the how, when you were first starting out? Because I think those are, even I've heard, you and I've talked, I've heard some of your stories, but I think that for the people that are here in the Zoom that are new, what was that like from your mindset standpoint?
Yeah, so I just, like I said, I could not spend any more money, which we didn't have, because we put that mentorship on a credit card, and that first deal that we did on the MLS, some of the renovations we put on a credit card as well, because we went over what we, budgeted for the renovations. And it took us like 3 months to find a tenant because it was in the winter time. And until you hold the property, you're still paying the mortgage and the utilities and all of that, right? So that credit card bill was like going up. And I told myself, like, and I was listening to Brand Daniels, like, if he's saying, you can do this for free, like without, like having all these softwares and all that, like he's done it, he's made it, he's got success stories, why can't I do it? So then, like, Pat, I just like was listening to the success stories. You have to listen to these success stories every day, so then you start believing that, hey, if that person made it happen, so can I. And like,
Right.
I was like, this is a great strategy. If it worked for me one time, I just need to keep doing the same thing again and again. I have this one software, it's giving me the leads of the properties that are scheduled to go to auction, right? And like along the way, I was like, okay, I know there are going to be things that I'm going to have to figure out: how to stop the auctions, how to get it postponed, and how to talk to the lenders, how to talk to the foreclosure attorney's office. But I wasn't afraid of it. I know it's not easy. I know it's scary. When you're talking to the foreclosure attorney's office, lender, when you haven't done it. That I think we make that fear so big in our minds when we haven't even done the work.
Yes.
Right. So,
Yeah.
so Nita, your process. So going back to the first house that you're going in loops, trying to find so what was your process? Did you knock on a door and talk to the sellers? Like take us through your process when you first started. Of course, now you probably have different systems and everything, but how was it for you? Like you went in there and just kind of knew what anxieties you were going through, because that's the biggest thing, right? With the pre-foreclosures is to get in touch with them because they kind of in denial, right? Until they lose the property. So what was your process?
Of course, there was anxiety, there was fear, all of that, but I would say it was probably less than most of the people, because I've had sales job in the retail banking industry. So for me, it's always like, hey, I'm just gonna jump in and do it. That's the kind of person I am. That's my personality, but I know everyone's not like that, and there's gonna be more fear than most of you will have than me. But just know there's nothing to be, scared of. There's nothing to be scared of. Just don't go in bad areas. Go in A, B, and C areas. You don't need to go in, distressed areas, right? So then you're safe. And you don't want to
Right.
go too late. Go anywhere from 8 in the morning until it gets dark.
And then how do you start the conversation? Like, do you knock on a door and say, "Hey, my name is Nita"? What do you walk us through that the initial conversation?
Initially, so when I had started, I didn't know, I didn't know what to say, what to do. I think I just had asked him like, hey, do you know your property is scheduled to go to auction? But now, yes, I have
Yeah.
figured out ways, like now my team says, hey, has anyone talked to you about the different options that you have for your house? So you don't want to bring up the words auction, pre-foreclosures, or anything like that, unless if the property is only a few days away from auction. Like let's say it's only like 3-4 days away from auction, then bring it up. But they already know. Why use such words that are going to trigger them? They already know their property is going to auction. Most of them know, 99% of the people. There will be that 1% that's going to be like, what? I didn't know, you know?
Right.
So you don't have to bring up those words when you're calling or texting them. So it's simple as, finding the right number, right? So like with the pre-foreclosures, Chris, like a lot of people, like if you go through them, if you manually skip trace every property that's scheduled to go to auction, you'll find what's behind the scene, like the homeowner has passed away or the property is under trust, right? And I heard no one do this. It was just like a lot of like just a lot of just testing it out. Like, let me look into this. Let me try this and see what happens. So then like I would find properties where the homeowners passed away. So then I'm like, okay, what can I do if the homeowners passed away? I'm like, oh, why don't I call their relatives? And then I had this skip tracing software. Like it would tell you, who else lives at the property, and then it would tell you when they were last seen. So a lot of things you can figure out before you even call or go door knock on the homeowners or the families, right? So like I do it differently than most of the people. So we narrow down the list of properties, that have multiple pain points. So let's say, like the property is in pre-foreclosure, right? And it's vacant, where, are all of them going to be vacant? No, not all of them are going to be vacant. But what I'm saying is the ones that are vacant and have multiple pain points, there's going to be higher motivation, right? So when it's vacant, the homeowners or the families, have already walked away from the properties. So it's easier to close on them as soon as possible. So if there's anyone on here who's looking to do their first deal, in the next 30 days, it's so possible. Like I can get a deal in 1 or 2 days if I go through the list.
Wow.
So
So do you get the
then
list from the county, or you guys use a software to pull the list?
now I do, yes, because I figured out that, county is the most accurate, most efficient, right? And on the county websites, there are days when they'll just add properties, even like 2-3 days before. So if
Okay.
you're using a software, it's not gonna be updated. So the best source is the county website. But go through all of them one by one, because what do most of the people do, Chris? They get a list, right? They trace it in bulk and then they put it in a dialer. Who are you calling? You're calling
Mm.
people that have passed away. and then you're moving on to other leads.
Makes sense. Yes.
So you
Correct?
take the time to know the history. Let me see that what is the history here,
Right.
the story here, and then you can kind of come up with your plan, right?
Right, exactly, exactly. If I am talking to, let's say, like a daughter of a homeowner that has passed away, like I already know, most of the times I already know like the history of the family.
Right.
There's this many siblings, the homeowner passed away 2 years ago. Most of the times I know the history, but don't spend too much time doing it, right? Now I'm at a point where, okay, I can do it in 5 minutes, and that's what I have trained,
Right.
my team. Like, don't spend too much time, because what if it doesn't work out? So you have to learn to be efficient with your time.
Yes.
So yeah, what do most of the people do? They put it in a dialer, they're calling people that have passed away. And that was just something that I kept thinking about, I was like, that doesn't make sense. Especially with these pre-foreclosures, it doesn't make sense, because think about it. Why is the property scheduled to go to auction? They're scheduled to go to auction because of a reason, right? And it can be so many things. The homeowner has passed away. No, there's no heirs that are, doing anything with this. It can be a loss of a job. It can be a divorce situation. It can be so many things, right? So you want to find the ones with multiple pain points. So pre-foreclosure, vacant, probate. Probate is, when the homeowner has passed away, right? And when they have passed away, it's automatically a probate. Tax delinquent, most of them will be tax delinquent, when it's a pre-foreclosure, because if they're not paying the mortgage, they're not paying the taxes.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? So stacking them. So like, let's say if I'm narrowing down a list, and if I have a list of anywhere from 30 to 50, I can get at least like 3 to 5 deals from that. So
And
I'm
then,
at a point.
yeah. And then what do you do? So then you have a good lead, and then you guys start calling, or that's the initial touch, or?
Yeah, so then we'll start calling, and then we also have door knockers that go out and door knock. So initially I did it myself for 5 years, guys. So when you're first starting out,
Wow.
you are gonna have to grind, you are gonna have to do it on your own, right? So you learn, and then you can train, whoever you hire. But you don't want to start, like, unless if you have a lot of money. But again, at the same time, you're not gonna know what to train them on.
Yes.
Even if you do have a lot of money when you're first starting out. So I do recommend, you doing it on your own.
Yeah, so I had to ask, where do you look to find out if the homeowner passed away? True People Search, obituary? I think Yara put that there. Yara.
Yeah, so True People Search, I don't use, but I've heard, it works for a lot of people. And I think it does tell you on there if the homeowners have passed away, but I use People Looker. So I tried 2, 3 different softwares, and one of the masterminds that I was in, they had, told us to use People Looker, and I started using it. And ever since then, it's worked out for me. It's called People Looker. It's anywhere from like $20 to $40 a month, depending on how many searches, you're going to have. If you have a lot of searches, then it's going to be $40.
Okay.
So,
And Nita, just to tell, like, whomever starting out, like, what do you recommend? Like, like, to return of investment, right? So what software should I buy? I know I need to knock on a door or make the calls myself until I learn, but what do you suggest? And then I wanted to see what is the biggest mistakes that people do starting out, and I'm sure you've done a couple.
Hey, Chris, I got a follow-up question for that too, just because I know people are doing so many different angles just from an audience standpoint. But yes,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead, Pat.
Ask Pat.
okay. The follow-up question is like, and for people here, that's like, okay, there's, because when we got into to wholesaling, it's like it was, we everyone wanted to do foreclosures. Now everyone's doing, different things like expired listings, and they were sending out AOIs. So I just wanted to see from your angle in terms of comparison, just for the public, right? Just a generic, comparison to people. Because sometimes, like now, like people don't realize that door knocking is amazing, right? Like some people don't do door knocking. Like people have gotten to the point where they're just kind of, shooting out emails. So I just wanted to hear from your opinion.
So I know like people are doing different things, but like this is where your biggest ROI is going to be, your biggest profits are going to be, and this is what like Caroline is teaching now on the daily dials, and Greg Clark, and like of course those subject to creative, finance deals are good, but your biggest profits are going to be here, the pre-foreclosures with high equity, multiple pain points, right? So you want to go after the ones that are high equity. So we go after the ones with more than 40% equity. So first you want to go after all of this.
40%. Okay.
More than 40% equity. Yes. So like I'll give you an example. There's one that we're going to be closing on next week where we are buying it for 120 with the association, and the ARV is about 300. And it's a townhouse. So we're going to be putting in probably about, let's say the most $50,000, even if it's like going to be a high quality flip, right? So that's a great deal. That's a home run deal,
Yes.
right?
Wow.
So I understand. I don't know much about foreclose. So when you buy, when it goes to auction, or before it goes to auction, you come with cash. Is that how Illinois is? Because in Atlanta, in Georgia, I think our auction days is on first Tuesday of the month, but I think you need to have cash, or not cash, but money, something. But you need to pay for the property upfront. Right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I've foreclosed before. So, but I want to see from when do you do the deal, when it's before it goes to auction, right?
Before it goes to auction, I don't buy at the auctions. I hate even going to the auctions because there's so many people that are bidding on the properties. And like if you get them before they go to auction, you can buy these properties for $50,000 to $70,000 less. I'm
Wow.
telling you guys.
And how do you buy?
Because
How do you pay for it? Cash?
so the same, you can use cash, you can use a private lender, of course, like there's no time for hard money and stuff like that, because sometimes, you may have to close on these within like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, not all the time. There's times when you have, like a month or 2 months, or if you're getting it postponed again, you may even have longer, but I just personally don't use hard money. We use private lenders. We use like 5 private lenders here in Illinois, which we've been using for the last 8 years, the same lenders.
Awesome.
So
So with with the seller, you're talking to them, and then they say, "Hey, I agree. Like let's do this." So what is the next step? Do you start calling the lenders? Who do you need to, who do you talk to so I can understand the whole process?
yeah, so first, get a skip tracing software, right? You can use True People Search or you can use People Looker. Okay. So that's all you need. You just need that one software, okay? And just look on your county website for the properties that are scheduled to go to auction
Yep.
in the next, let's say if you're in a big market, right, and there's a lot of properties scheduled to go to auction, then go back 30 days. If there's not that many, go back 60 days. Okay, this is important because you don't want to work off of too many leads. Otherwise you're just going to get so overwhelmed and then you're going to get frustrated. So we don't want that to happen. So start slow. So it all, starts with, just have minimal amount of leads, one software. That's it, guys. So the mistakes that you were talking about, same thing with me. I was like, okay, I'm going to hire a VA. I'm going to have all these, different softwares, which I tried after, I did it myself for 2 years. I was like, okay, now it's time for me to hire people and, like go all
Didn't you
in
do
and,
that, Pat? I
I
think
did
Pat did the same.
thousands per month. This is like,
Yes.
yeah, and then have all these different systems. And, I tried that for like 3 months. And then before I know it, like 3 months passed and we didn't close on any deals, no
yeah.
deals. I'm like, you know what? I'm stopping all of this. I'm going back to what was working for me. And that's what I did. I stopped everything. I let go of those VAs. I like stopped all those softwares and I just kept People Looker, the skip tracing software. That's it. So find the leads from the county websites, and then use the skip tracing software, and start calling on them. If you think you don't have the right numbers, go door knock.
Okay.
Okay, so make a list first, okay, of the ones with high equity, okay, and multiple pain points. So if you don't have that many leads, don't worry about, like the properties with the multiple pain points where it's vacant. And the way you figure out is if it's vacant is like from your skip tracing software. It'll tell you when the homeowners were last seen. Like let's say if they were last seen in 2023, and there's no other people that reside at the subject property, then, that tells you that, hey, most likely this is going to be vacant.
Mm.
Right? But you still need to go and drive by to see if it's really vacant or not.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Confirm, yeah.
Which most of the people are not doing, guys. You have to remember, you have to do things that other people are not willing to do.
Yes.
And if you do that, you're going to end up with good deals. I just gave you an example of the deal that I'm closing on next week. That's just one.
So sometimes it's just a made a call for you guys and then you close the deal or you need to and then you go there in person or most of your deals are done over the phone now or you guys
No. So
or
we're cold calling, we're door knocking on the same properties. Now we're just like
got you.
hitting
You
them
got
from everywhere, right? But you have to first provide value, okay? So it's not about the house. You have to understand these people are going through something. They're in a
the
situation,
humane,
right?
yes,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So you have to first provide value, like you have to remember you're not gonna get to buy every house, but the more people you help, the more the universe is gonna give back to you. So remember that.
Okay, yes.
So that's
I
why
agree.
we're approaching them in a way like where, hey, has anyone talked to you about the different options that you have? And also that keep it simple. You don't have to give too many options. Like, hey, do you have the money, to reinstate the loan? So they don't have to pay off the total amount, right? They just have to pay off, whatever they're behind in, plus the interest and the foreclosure attorney fees and all of that to get out of pre-foreclosure, right? So like ask, hey, do you have the money? If not, can you borrow it from someone? We know most likely they're not going to have the money, nor can they borrow it. If they did, they probably wouldn't be in this situation,
Yes.
right? So, and then you can ask like, hey, have you tried a loan modification? But for a loan modification, they have to be working. So through your conversation and when you're building rapport, you can find out if they're working or not, right? And if they're not working, then forget the loan modification. That's not even an option because you need income coming in. Right? So
Yes.
so those are the options that you want to give. Or hey, have you thought about, listing the house to get the highest and best price? Most of the times, again, we know they don't have enough time. It's a distressed home where a lot of work needs to be done, right? So some of
Yeah.
the stuff does need to be done before you list it, and they don't have their money, nor do they have the time. But you're still talking about it. You're still giving that option so you can find out if they have thought about that option,
Yes. Yes. No.
right? So those are the three main options that I give. That's it. At first, you don't need to talk about subject two. You don't need to talk about creative finance. All of that comes later.
And do you buy subject to? Yara
Yeah,
is asking.
we do. So we go after, so
Oh,
like newer properties that were sold like in the last 5 years that have a good interest rate, right? Because we know those properties are not going to need that much work,
okay.
right? So when you're doing your research, you can also check to see when the property last sold. How do you do that? It can be in that skip tracing software, or you can just Google the year. Hey, it sold in 2019. What were the interest rates in 2019? Oh, in 2019, they were 3%. Great. You can do a subject too. But again, you don't want to talk about that in the beginning because you don't want to scare them away. You're trying to build rapport at first, right? You're just becoming a friend, someone of support. Most of
Yes.
these people have buried their heads in the sand and they're not talking to anyone. They're not even talking to their own family members about this because they're embarrassed. They're ashamed.
Okay,
So the
yes.
last thing you want to do is make them feel that way. That's why in the beginning I said, don't bring up the words pre-foreclosures, auction. You don't need to. They already know. You don't
Yeah.
need to trigger them.
I think Tisha has a question. Hi, Tisha.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning.
You said a couple things I just want some clarification on. I've not used the skip tracing software, so forgive me if I would know this if I did. But you mentioned the first thing you said is find out when they were last seen. What does that mean exactly?
Yes, so at the subject property, so the People Looker software that I use, it tells you that they resided at the property from 1999 to 2023, or they were last seen at the property. Is it always going to be accurate? No,
When you say
but
last, what do you mean when you say they were last seen at the property? Who?
at the property, like they last lived at the property
Like
Okay.
until 1999 to 2023. I'm just giving an
yeah,
example.
utility bills, electricity bills, things like that, mailing stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, I think that's how they probably find out. And then it also will tell you if they have passed away. Not all the time. Again, not all the time, guys. None of this, is going to be accurate 100% of the times. But a lot of times it is. If the homeowner has passed away, it will tell you, deceased.
Okay.
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 The
Or
last.
like
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, or let's say if they're older, let's say they're in their 70s, 80s, you can Google their name and look for their obituary. Like John Smith, Atlanta, Georgia, obituary.
Okay.
Okay. And you can find their obituary that way. Is there always going to be an obituary? No, because the people that were cremated at a government facility, there is going to be no obituary.
Mhm.
Okay. So then the next question I have is, when you are finding these properties that have the 40% equity, is your strategy at this point, are you wholesaling them? Are you holding them? What is your strategy once you get the information?
So right now we're holding most of the properties. So we're only going after the ones that we want to buy.
Okay.
If it's in an area where we don't invest, we don't want to buy, but it's got a lot of equity, and we have a lot going on, then we'll wholesale it. So
Okay.
wholesaling for us is not the goal. Right
Okay.
now. Right now it's not. Did we wholesale before? Yes, we did.
And
And you want to, in the
yeah,
beginning.
I have a question. Like you said, you bring private money lenders. Do you mind just sharing with us what you pay them, or what is their returns?
Yeah. So all the private money lenders that we use are from the first mentorship that we did here with Andrew Holmes. Okay. They're all from there. So that's one of the best things that we got out of that mentorship. So we pay 2 points, which is, like 2% of the loan amount, right? And 10%, some of them charge 10%, some of them charge 12%.
Annualized.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you keep their money and then you give to them a year later, or you do by
No,
property?
not annualized. I'm sorry. No, it's per project.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, so we'll borrow for anywhere from 4 to 6 months because we know, right? Even if it's a cosmetic rehab, sometimes it can take longer.
Gotcha.
Not 2 weeks, not 3 weeks. It might take longer.
45
Especially
days.
the refinance. Yeah, I mean everything adds up, right? Especially the refinance process and all of
So
that.
you get a private money lender, they come in with the cash, you take over the property, you do the rehab or whatever needs to be done. If you buy and if you're holding, you get a DSCR loan and rent it out and pay the PML back.
That's what we're doing on most of them. There are some that will use our own money, especially the ones that we take over subject to because you have to reinstate the loans, right? So some of them we're using our own money, but yes, most of the times using a private lender. Just so
Okay.
you can do more, right? When you're using a
Exactly.
private
Yeah.
lender. Yeah.
No, I just
Yeah.
wanted to see the return. So it's about 10% per property per deal,
Yes, 10 to
4 to 6
12%.
months. Yep. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Anita, what
And
would you say would be, this year, right? 2005. What is your prediction or what have you seen in the market in terms of pre-foreclosures? Like we do a lot of expired listings, so it's just like, like for example, like the beginning of the year is always busy, and now it's kind of staggering. Well, what do you see in terms of pre-foreclosures?
Lot. There's more and more. Like we can't even keep up in our market, you know? So if it's like that here in Chicago, I'm sure it's like that where you are too, you
Yeah,
know? So like I don't know if you guys are a judicial or a non-judicial
No,
state,
no,
like how
non-judicial, judicial.
non-judicial.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's
then the process is not that long, right? The
no,
foreclosure process. Okay.
I mean, the time to do the title search is about 30 days, 60 days maximum.
I believe so. Yes.
It's so fast. Yes, Bess, I've foreclosed on
Okay.
people being a private money lender, so I know all of that.
Okay. Okay. Here we're a judicial state, for the most part. So it takes anywhere from 2 to 5 years before a property is,
Wow,
scheduled to go to
wow.
auction. So that's why those reinstatement, amounts like go up so much. But that's okay, even the non-judicial states, right? But yeah, if you go after the ones with high equity, and then if you want to take them over subject to, go after the ones that sold in the last 5 years with a good interest rate, you're gonna end up like with good deals. And
Uh,
not many people are doing all this. They don't want to do all this nitty
No.
gritty research and all of that. But if you can be like, let's say on here, there's what about 34 people. If there's even two, three people doing it in your market, and you figure this out, you can like be doing 3 to 5 deals a month. But of
Anybody
course, that
here?
will take
Yeah, is anybody
time.
here
We'll
doing it?
start with one, but after like let's say a year or two, you can be doing 3 to 5 deals a month.
I
Wow.
literally
Let's just
just
start
pulled
with
the list
one
this morning.
because all the mindset stuff you have to work on, right, along the way, right? If someone has the right mindset, they have already, done the personal development and all that. Hey, you can start with the 3 to 5, sure, but
Yeah.
along the way, there's a lot of mindset issues that you have to work on, you know.
Does
But
anybody here do foreclose? Anybody is doing door knocking or anything? What is been working for you guys? Anybody
Don't
here?
normally do it, but I literally just pulled the list this morning. I personally go to, there's several attorneys here in Atlanta that pull,
Sean?
can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
your speaker's very low, Sean.
Can you hear me now? Just under a little bit.
Sounds like you're in a bathtub.
Oh man, that's bad.
And you-
Sorry. Long story short, I pulled the list this morning, from one of the attorney websites.
Attorneys website. Okay. And what is working for you? What kind of list? Like low equity or high equity or
I literally just pulled the list this morning. I haven't worked it yet. I just pulled
okay.
it this morning.
Cool. All right. Anybody else? I know Stephanie's doing door knocking in Augusta.
How did you get that list? I'm sorry, the attorney list.
I started with PropWire and just pulled the different pre-foreclosures that are coming to auction. And then from there, each one of them will tell you in the records who the attorney is. And I just Google the attorneys. And I've been doing it for years. So right now I got my go-to people for, here in New York, that post on their website. So go to PropWire, it's free, pull the first free list, but don't necessarily care for the list from PropWire. Go and use it for the attorney's information and reach out to the attorneys. Some of them update it regularly.
All right. So we have Garrett. Come on, here's a question.
Yeah, I want to go back up a little bit. My wife died about 2 weeks ago, and you said something about obituaries. And we own 7 or 8 properties, and am I going to get bombarded with people calling me now?
Probably not because most of the people are not doing this.
Okay.
So
just wanted to get
no,
myself
I would
prepared.
not. I mean, unless if they start after the Zoom, but no, probably not because
All right.
most of the people don't want to put in this work. So,
All right. Thank you.
because it takes time. It takes time, to do all this, right? Most of the people just want to put, leads in a dialer and call, right? So no, don't worry about that, Garrett. Also, was it you, Garrett, that was talking about how you're getting the
Sean,
list
that
from
was
the
Sean.
Oh, that was Sean.
Sean.
Okay, so yeah, prop wire, I'm sure it's good and all that, but if you go directly on the county website, depending on the county, every county is different. But the county websites are going to be the most accurate, and the county websites will also give you the name of the foreclosure attorneys most of the times. Okay, every county is different. And then use your software. If you have the prop wire, use it and compare the data. That's what I do, like I have one local software here with the high equity pre-foreclosures, and I compare the data. But that's why I was saying to you earlier that the county websites are adding properties even a few days before. They're just adding properties randomly. So if you're not looking on the county websites, you're gonna miss those. So let's talk about how do you get properties that are scheduled to go to auction postponed?
I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
You asked about reaching out to the attorneys, and I'm just confused about why are you calling the attorneys instead of the homeowners? I don't understand the need to contact the attorneys.
Did I say that or did
I don't
someone
know if you
else?
did or if somebody else
No,
did. So
no, you
anybody can answer this question.
So you want to contact the homeowners because they're the ones who can make the decision, to sell the house, not the foreclosure attorney.
That's what I thought. That's why I was wondering why you were saying get the attorney information. I didn't know what that was for.
This
Yeah,
is this.
probably if you want to get more information, like the reasons why we call the foreclosure attorney's office is to confirm. Sometimes if we're not sure if the property is scheduled to go to auction, there's conflicting information, on the county websites and all that, then we'll call and be like, hey, is this property still scheduled to go to auction? Or if the homeowners tell us they're doing something about it or they've sold it to someone, then we'll call just to make sure that it is still scheduled. Or like if I want to confirm an amount, which you're not going to know what the exact payoff amount is until you order a payoff. But can you come up with an approximate amount? Yes. So you can call and find out, what the judgment amount is. Okay. Will most of them give you? No, not everyone, not every foreclosure attorney's office, but some will, So when they give you that amount, ask them when it was last calculated. That is going to make a huge difference. If they say it was last calculated in December of 2024, or let's say December of 2023, that's a year's worth of payments you have to add. That can throw off your numbers. So find out when it was last calculated, right? And another reason why you would call the foreclosure attorney's office is, let's say the sellers, or the homeowners are ready to, sell the house to you. They want to do something about it, but you guys need more time to postpone it. Then what you can do is get the contract, with the homeowners, or if the homeowners have passed away, you're working with the family, have one of the members, from the family sign the contract, so you have to send over the contract and the proof of funds to the foreclosure attorney's office. So when you call the foreclosure attorney's office, ask them who should we email this to? Who should we email the contract and the proof of funds to? So get their correct email. Okay. And when you're emailing it out in the subject line, put urgent. Okay. This is important, guys. This took me a long time to figure out because they may not look at your email right away. Then, like let them know that, hey, we are, working with the family and, we're going to be buying the property, attached, you will find the contract and the proof of funds, and if there's any way, you guys can get this postponed for us. Just give us a few more days so we can close on this. So that's one way. Another way is you can call the lender with the homeowner. This is the quickest way. Like, let's say if someone's property is scheduled to go to auction in 3 days. You want to call with the homeowner because even if you have an authorization form, it takes a few days for you to be authorized in their system. So the quickest way is to get on the phone with the homeowner and they can authorize you and you'll be authorized right away, on the account. So when you call the lender, you tell them the same thing, like, hey, or the homeowner can talk, or you can talk on their behalf and say, hey, we're looking to, sell this property. We have a contract. We have, someone that has the money. They have the cash. Can you give us just a little more time? that little more time, it can be 30 days. It can be 60 days sometimes, you know.
Wow. Wow, good.
They will make that decision. And when you don't have enough time, when you're running out of time, you want to try from every angle. Call the lender, call the foreclosure attorney's office. Okay. You want to try from both sides, both angles. Okay. Because you never know who's gonna do it first. But it's not the foreclosure attorney's decision. It's the lender's. Because they just hired the foreclosure
Right,
attorney for this
right,
process, right?
right.
So they have to go back to the lender anyways. But if you get to the right person, you know, it can be done quickly. And when you're calling the lender, you know, call the loss mitigations department and ask who the decision maker is for this account. You have to get to the right person. If you don't get to the right person, this is going to go nowhere. This took me a while to figure out as well.
Wow. I
Great.
think Ronnie
So,
has a question. Hi, Ronnie.
hi, Ron.
Hi. Hi, Nita. How are you doing?
Hi. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Um, the question I have is, you mentioned the pre-foreclosure attorney. I mean, they were hired by the lender to, foreclose on the homeowner. So how do they get paid if you, like at the last minute, try to, buy this property?
They still get paid.
Yeah.
Have you seen the fees?
Oh, they still get paid?
Yeah, they still get paid. It's
Oh,
outrageous, you know,
So the
what
buyers
they
have to pay
charge.
that fees at that point?
Well, I mean, it's all going to be in the payoff. So yes,
Okay,
whoever is buying it, yeah, they have to pay it. It's all in the payoff. So there's nothing to worry about. Like they're not going to be like, oh, if someone buys it before it goes to auction, we're not going to make anything. No,
but I,
gotcha.
they're
I have
still
a
going to get
question.
paid.
Ronnie, why are you asking that question? Because what is your
No, I'm
rationale, I
just curious. I've
guess?
always been curious as to if they would really work with you to allow you to have a purchase and sale agreement at that point. Because if you do pay, I was thinking if you do buy it, then they wouldn't get paid. So that's why I was
No,
asking.
no,
Uh,
they
Having
do. They do.
a group, Melanie, what is there anything different in Georgia? How is it from your angle?
Melanie, is she there?
She's trying to unmute.
Sorry, I got to unmute. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, what happens in this case for the investors that I work with is they do reach out to our office and ask us to see if we can get foreclosure stopped. While we can get the payoff and everything done. It is exactly as Nita said, we have to have the contract, we have to have proof of funds, and especially they want to see that earnest money was paid out already is the big thing that I don't know why they're hung up on that, but they are. And then we get a payoff. Unbelievably, it's difficult to get a payoff. I mean, here we are, and usually, unfortunately, people wait until like 2 days before the foreclosure sale to start working on this, and then it's like we can't get a payoff. So it's the more time we have, the better off it is. But unfortunately, it seems like the homeowners keep their heads buried in the sand, don't want to accept that they're fixing to lose their property until the very last minute, and then sometimes they just lose the property. But we try to assist as much as we can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, like she said, 2 days before, but they're just in denial, they're in denial, they're scared, most of them, like a day or 2 days before are trying to figure it out. They're calling their friends, they're calling, their attorney if they have an attorney. This is like a day or 2 days before they're figuring this out. All this time they're in denial, but this is what happens. I get so many calls the night before, the day of, but it's really not us, and Melanie knows that it's really not us. We go to them a few days before. It's just that they're in denial. Not everyone, but most of them. But yeah, you do get paid, but this is better for everyone buying it before the auction. It's better for the homeowners. They avoid a foreclosure. It's also better,
Yeah.
for the foreclosure attorney's office. They're getting paid regardless, right? And they don't have to wait until the property is sold at the auction. right? Better for them. It's better for the lender, right? Because they have to stay within a rating, a yearly
Right,
rating.
you're
And if they
right.
don't have that many foreclosures, their rating is low, right? So
Lenders don't want to
it's good for
foreclose.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's good for everyone.
this is how the sub two works so well, though, too, because we don't necessarily have to get a full payoff. We just need to reinstate the loan in most cases, right? So the homeowner can assist in getting a reinstatement. And so if we can get the reinstatement submitted, um, that's also going to stop the foreclosure too. So much better than having to get a full payoff.
Even that takes time, the
It does.
reinstatement
It
payoff.
does.
So
It does.
so that's another thing, guys. When you're ordering the payoffs, order both of them. Order the reinstatement payoff and the total payoff because you may change your strategy. You may not want to take it over subject to after you see what their reinstatement amount is. So order both of them.
True. And also in doing a sub two, we need to know the principal balance and all of that. So we need that payoff as well as a reinstatement. We need both.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question, a follow-up question to, I think it was Melanie?
Yes.
Hey, Melanie, in terms of what you just said, in terms of just paying back the back due and getting the loan reinstated, when it comes to subject to and not buying it outright like Nita's doing, have you ever experienced a situation with the due-on clause from the bank? And how have you handled that?
It's always a possibility. That is the downside of the sub twos. There are ways to try to protect it. I mean, like I always say that the buyer should really buy in a trust and not necessarily an LLC because they don't look behind trusts. And especially if you called it, if you're trying to buy 123 Main Street, call your trust 123 Main Street Trust. Then they don't know who the beneficiary of the trust is, and they're not going to be able to see who the beneficiary of the trust is. So but can it happen? Absolutely. And that is an issue. Have I had it happen on any of my deals? No, I have not, but that's not to say that it won't happen.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And Tisha has a question.
I do. The question's for the attorney. I just want to kind of walk through this a little bit. So she mentioned the reinstatement payoff versus to stop the foreclosure. Can you help me understand the timeline? Because I'm understanding if we only have a couple of weeks. So do we have time to do all of this at the same time, or are we now just stopping the foreclosure? And then I'm also misunderstanding. I guess you got to know how you're going to buy before you go into this with the attorney's office. I'm not understanding how you could buy a property subject to and stop the foreclosure in the same timeline. Is it you're trying to, are you just trying to stop the foreclosure first and then working it out from there? Or is it, how is your contract written? Is the payoff amount above a certain amount you won't buy? What is your way to get out of a contract if once you stop the foreclosure, the other numbers that you had on your paper are not in alignment? What do you do then?
Tisha, I think that's more for Nita. I think you can, because the contract's whatever you write. I think, what do you do, Nita, in that situation? Because that's more whatever you want to, like, it's not necessarily what the attorney does, but it's what you put in the contract.
Well, no, I'm wondering how to write a contract so that this works. So I'm missing a piece here.
What is it that you want to do, though? I mean, are you wanting to buy it outright, or are you wanting to buy it on sub two? That's where you got to decide first in your head.
Okay, but how would you know that without knowing what the payoff is?
Okay, so that's where you have to, do your research, right? Like, let's say if it's something worth, taking it over subject to, it's got a good interest rate, it doesn't need that much work. right? And you can ask the homeowners, hey, how long has it been since you made a payment? And if they tell you, hey, it's been in your estate, it's non-judicial, so maybe a few months. Okay, let's just say it's been 4 months, and ask them like, what's the mortgage amount? And if you have a software, maybe PropWire or something, it may give you all this. You don't even have to ask them, but ask them to confirm it. Hey, like what's your monthly payment? If they say it's 2,000, right? And it's been 4 months, that's 8,000 there, $8,000 right there. And maybe add another five, for all the attorney fees and all of that. So something like that. And then, look at the ARV. What's the value? What's the after repair value? Is it something that you want to take over subject to, or you want to buy it with cash? That's just something that you're going to have to figure out. The foreclosure attorney's office cannot really help you with that, but that can be changed, and when you're reinstating the loan, that will stop the auction, because all the lender wants is what they're behind on, plus the attorney fees and the interest and all that. So
No,
they don't have
no,
to pay the full amount. Like if the
no,
loan amount is 100, you don't have to pay the full amount.
here was my question is, to stop the foreclosure auction, you just have to have a contract, or do you have to have wired the attorney the reinstatement amount? I'm misunderstanding that part.
Okay. So to get it postponed, you
Mhm.
just need the contract and the proof of funds.
Okay.
But it has to go, like, even if you send it to the foreclosure attorney's office, they're going to send it to the lender. The
Okay.
decision has to come from the lender. So the lender will look at it and be like, okay, yeah, this contract is good. They have the money, we'll give 30 more days so they can close
Gotcha.
on this.
Okay. So
So
that
it
extra
just gets
30 days.
postponed.
Yeah, okay. So that extra
Yeah,
30 days of time that you have gives you the time you need to decide
right.
if you're going to modify your contract.
Right. Can it be
Okay.
postponed more than once? Yes.
Okay.
I've gotten them postponed maybe 2, 3 times sometimes. We had one where we had to get a guardianship and we got it postponed like 5 times. But you have to show proof. You have to show that you're really working on this file. You're doing something. But don't expect that from every file. Your goal should be to close on it as soon as possible. But this
Okay.
this scenario was different, where we had to do a guardianship, which takes months, you know?
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, you're just buying more time to get it done.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
then a few days before the auction, you want to make sure that closing happens. Okay, not a day before or 2 days before, because every lender's instructions are different. One lender's instructions may be, hey, first the check has to go to, or the wire or the check has to go to, the foreclosure attorney's office, and then they will send it to us. Or it can go directly to the lender. Every payoff is going to have different instructions. So you want to close few days before, so it's enough time for the lender to get the funds. Because if they don't get their money on time, then the property will end up going to auction. Unless if you're, in communication with the foreclosure attorney's office and you're letting them know that, hey, we're working on this. We just need 3 more days. Please just give us a few more days. We know you already postponed it once, but just give us a few more days. So you have to stay in communication. That's the most
Well, there
important.
is here in Georgia, at least there is a time, I can't remember what time it is, 10 o'clock, whatever, that if you can prove that you had the money in before that, even if they sell the property at foreclosure, the sale will be overturned then. So
Really? Like how after the auction is done, how fast they can come and get the property back in Georgia? Or that's called redemption
no. I
period?
did not say
No.
that. I did
No,
not
no, no,
say
I know.
that.
I'm asking. No, I'm like, it's my mind.
No,
Like,
no. We don't have any of that. Foreclosure is foreclosure. It's done.
okay, good,
Over with.
good. Because I'm like,
But
okay,
but the same day, if the money was in by the certain time and the auctioneer
gotcha.
just didn't know that, then whatever that sale won't go through.
All
Okay, that
right,
will be turned over. Okay.
all right.
But no, there is no redemption period on a foreclosure. It's done.
You guys have in Illinois, right? You said 2 years?
So we have a 30-day confirmation period. So like, let's say if a homeowner files for bankruptcy, or for, the information just doesn't get to the auctioneer and the property ends up going to auction, then what you can do is you can do like a motion to vacate the sale. Is it always going to get vacated, meaning canceled? No, not always. but you have to hire an attorney that goes in front of the judge, files this motion to vacate, and it can be vacated. I've had that happen before.
Okay. All
Yeah, and
right. So
obviously
yeah.
is what she just said. Bankruptcy is another way to stop the sale. That is obviously a very, you really don't want to have to use that, but I have done transactions where
Oh,
the
yes.
Yeah.
borrower filed bankruptcy to stop the foreclosure.
Yeah, that's the last option because it does, you guys need to remember this. It does affect their credit score. If they're doing this just to stop you, and you don't want to talk about it, you want to find an attorney that does bankruptcies. You don't want to talk about this because Melanie will tell you can get in trouble. That's why I didn't even bring it up, because that's your last
Okay.
See,
option.
Melanie.
That's
But
your
she's
last
correct.
option. You
She
don't
is,
want to
yeah.
talk about bankruptcies unless if there's no other choice. Like I said, it is going to affect their credit score. Everything's going to get shut down, all their credit cards, okay? And it just prolongs everything. If you're
It does
buying their
because
property, you have to wait for it to be dismissed. It takes weeks, right,
exactly.
Melanie?
It's a difficult thing. Like I said, I've seen it used. It's not something that you want to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
no other option. And you have a bankruptcy attorney that's working with the family. You don't want to guide them though. That's what I'm saying. Don't tell them that, hey, you can go to the bankruptcy court and file, and you don't want to guide them.
But
Find an attorney.
this has
Yeah.
been amazing.
Let's be good, guys.
Yeah, this is amazing because I know we, some of us, especially in our in our community, like you said, we've gotten away from it, right? Like we go to the easy button, right? The easy button, hit a button, send out things and things like that. So I think this is great, especially nowadays. Like I think time has been harder, right? Things have been slower. There's a lot more foreclosures. There's a lot more things out there. So if we want to find good deals, it's out there. I mean, you in Chicago, Atlanta, I'm sure there's plenty. So this is great. I mean, this is definitely another angle to revisit again. Like this is something like even myself, right? I had a couple other people that talked about that I saw in here. So no, this has been amazing. But yes, no, thanks for coming in today, Nita. Guys, what do you guys think today? I mean, it was amazing.
Put on a chat there. Thank you,
Yes.
Nita. I mean, it's been amazing. Such great education about foreclosures, like it's about pre-foreclosures, foreclosures. And thank you so much for your time. It's amazing. Guys, let's show some
welcome.
love how can people find you? I know you have your phone number right there. Your socials, your Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah,
anything
I'll
that you
put
want to
my
promote or any Zooms or.
So I am, if you guys can follow me on Instagram, I'm trying to grow that. Actually, I just started Instagram a few months ago, even before, like few months after Facebook. And Caroline Kane had kept telling me, like, girl, get on Instagram. And
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, no,
Oh
one
yeah.
thing at a time,
Yeah.
one thing at a time. Let's start with Facebook. So my Facebook grew, but the Instagram still haven't. So if you guys can
So
follow me on Instagram.
Simon said we could do another couple of hours on this. It is amazing. Like it just, I don't know much about it and understanding that side. Like I want to go get a list and just do it, like just to see what happens. And then I want to put on social media to show like this is how we're doing, and if I have any questions, I'm gonna call you. But guys, follow
Sure.
Nita. Yeah, follow Nita on Instagram. Engage. And you post all your stuff there. And if there's anything else, people can follow you and be
And
part of
just,
it.
for everyone, guys, just that I asked Nita earlier too, and Chris, it's like, guys, this is the bigger payday, right? There's more money in pre-foreclosures, right? So the other ones, the no equity, the sub two, okay, great, we can do those, but pre-foreclosure is where the money is. Obviously, it's more work. If you put in the work, there's a bigger payday. Is that correct, Nita?
What's not work, Pat? Everything is work.
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know but these with high equity where your profits are going to be higher, it's just going to motivate you, and that first deal that you get is going to be your proof of concept, and you're going to want to do it more. That's what happened to me. I was like, oh my God, if I sell this house, I can make $80,000. But we didn't sell it. We still have it, but it's just a great feeling, like it can change your life, you know So like if you, I know you guys do the in-person, meetups as well. If you guys want me to come out there and talk about all
Girl,
this,
just let us
I can do it.
know. We
You know, I
every
don't,
second Tuesday of
yeah,
the month. You tell us
yeah,
when you
I
can
can,
come. Oh my
yeah, I can
goodness.
come out. And then like also started the workshops, like my first workshop is next week,
So
because so
put it
many
there.
people reach out.
Let everybody know. People already asking, do you have a private group where you're teaching this?
Yeah.
And I would love to have you in Atlanta. You can come and stay with me.
Yeah, we can even do a workshop there because I
Oh,
do want to do
yes.
workshops outside of
Let's
Chicago
chat.
because I don't want too many people doing the same thing here. Think about it. If you had too many people,
Oh, no.
and plus,
So
like, I want people to learn, all of this. I want people to be doing this in
we
other
show our
states.
community only. Okay, guys, don't tell anybody. We're going to bring Nita over and, and teach everybody. And let's start doing this and, getting a lot of pre-foreclosures.
We got to schedule that. We got to plan that, Nita. Let's do it. Let's
No,
go.
we got
Yes,
no,
let's
let's
do
get on a
it. Let's
call.
do it.
Yes.
So for people that are on here, like the regular price is $3,000, but I can give it to you guys for 1,500. I know it's last minute, it's next weekend, but I will have another one right after the summit, probably 2 weeks after the summit. So sometime in April, I'll have another one. If you guys missed, this one because it's short notice, for you guys, right? So if
I-
someone is interested, just reach out, to me. But for you
Is that
guys,
in
it'll be
person
1,500.
or you guys are doing the workshop, right? It's online, virtual.
Person because I feel like it's so important to be there,
I agree.
because it's gonna be a lot of
Oh yeah.
hands-on. We're gonna be
Yeah.
cold calling, we're going to be, probably if there's time, we're gonna go out and door knock on a few properties in the area. So a lot of it is
I
gonna be
love it.
hands-on, and Pace is gonna get on via Zoom. And then I have my personal mentor who's helped me, like just believe and trust in myself. I used to pay her $300 an hour, you know so
Yeah.
she's going to be there for
Oh
a few
yeah.
hours. She's going to talk about the root cause of why most of the people don't take any action, and what stops them,
Oh yeah.
because this is important. This is so important. If you don't believe or trust in yourself, forget the information that I gave you, or forget the
Yeah.
information that Pat and Chris and Pace and everyone gives you. Like, you're not going to be able to do
And,
anything with
and
it.
Edgar said you didn't even talk about mindset, guys.
I
Like
wanted to
I
hear about.
Nita
did.
is known for the
I want to
mindset.
hear about
I
mine
mean,
next.
we're gonna bring you back to talk
Yeah.
about mindset.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it in person this time.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
let us know
yeah.
when. Yeah.
Probably let's do it probably after the summit.
That's the squad
After
up.
like, yeah, after squad
I
up.
like April. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we can even
Let's
look
put on
into
a
doing a
calendar.
workshop, because it's a lot. Like, people call me, right, Chris? And I'm just like, I want to help, but I can't. It's too
Right.
much, too many pieces, too much information. It's hard for me to give it. I don't mind giving it all out,
Yeah.
but it has to be done in a setting.
No, I'm really fan
You
of those full days or 2 full days or, those kind of boot camp style where people come in and get hands-on, like
know?
go visit, go do it, get on the phones. Because it's so important to see and go through the whole process. It's,
But
because there's a lot of information there, right, guys? We can get YouTube, we can buy books, you can, like it's a lot of stuff. But if you don't, it's like the holding hand that's so important, I think. Like, watch other people doing.
Yeah, and then just, like knowing what the different parts to this is, and there's Q&A, and then the
Yep.
mindset part. Mindset is huge. If you
Yep.
don't work on your mindset, yeah, you'll do 1, 2, 3 deals a year, but you cannot get to a level where you're doing
yeah,
multiple in a month. You just can't. There's so many different mindset issues that you're gonna have to work on along
It's
the
mostly
the way,
mindset. Yep.
in your journey, you have to.
and it's
Yep.
action. Actually being there is physical. It's action. It's door knocking. It's a lot of different angles instead of just sitting behind a computer screen. So I think it's
Right,
love it. Love it.
right,
Tisha,
right.
do you have a question or I forgot to lower the hand? Where did you go?
I think she disappeared.
She's
Maybe
muted.
got towards left the hand.
I think she
She's
Oh,
loaded
I'm
in.
saying,
sorry. I
Oh,
was
there.
asking if there is a way to download the chat so that I can get all
Oh,
the information
yes.
from my cell phone. I don't know how to do it from my cell phone.
So you can't. From what
Okay.
I know, you can only do it if you have the laptop. I can send it to you. Do you want to text me? I'll save it.
There's
Um,
somebody that
my phone number is there. If you want to text me, and I'll send it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
guys
You're
we got
welcome.
to close. It is 10:30.
Just one quick question, Nita. Can you verify your phone number? Because on your website, the middle three numbers don't match what's showing up on your Zoom.
No, thanks for bringing this
website
up.
are you on? Because I have two websites. Are you on Nita Buys Houses or the Pre-Foreclosures Queen?
The one that Edgar just posted a link.
The
Okay.
Queen.
The
Yeah, I'll give you my
Pre-Foreclosures
number
Queen.
here. 630
Uh-huh.
489
Okay.
8779.
Bye, Ronnie.
Yeah, so you may want to change it on your Zoom because it's showing as 498 on your Zoom, not 489.
It's a typo right there.
489 8779. On the Zoom, like here?
Yeah, we're showing your name and number.
Yeah, it's 489 8779. Yeah.
No,
No,
that
it's got 630. Oh, there it is. Gotcha. You're
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
well, guys, it's
All
10.
good. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks for letting me talk again soon. Garrett, sorry for your loss. As you're going through there, guys, have a great weekend. And guys, we're sure we meet again, same time, same place. And we'll see you guys soon, guys. If you like the Zoom, please post it out there. Post it out there in the PACE community world. Please let more people know about it. Follow us on social media. Thank you so much, Nita, and we will see you soon. Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
thank you,
you,
everyone.
guys.
The
Bye.
recording
Appreciate
is
you
going to
guys.
be in my
Bye.
YouTube. I'll post on a Facebook group. I'll see you guys. Thank you, Nita, again. Amazing.
Thank you. Bye.
Appreciate you. Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Weekend.